Chosen one, heaven has paused for you. The scroll of your life has opened, and this is no ordinary moment. Every sound around you fades because the Spirit has something to say directly to your heart. You are not scrolling by chance. You are being summoned. The divine has interrupted the noise to speak truth, correction, and destiny. Listen, this is your moment of holy interruption. You have felt it before, that stirring deep in your spirit when something unseen calls you higher. The world has tried to drown it out with distractions, with temporary pleasures, with endless scrolling, but heaven has pressed pause. Right now, eternity leans in to whisper your name. You, the one reading these words, have been chosen for something that cannot be ignored any longer. There are moments when time bends under the weight of divine purpose, and this is one of them. You have walked through seasons that made no sense. People left, doors closed, and prayers seemed unanswered. Yet, none of it escaped God's gaze. Every unanswered question was an invitation to trust. Every tear was counted in heaven's record. You were never invisible, not even for a moment. Chosen one, God has been watching, not in judgment, but in yearning. Watching as you wrestled with doubt. Watching as you hid your light to fit into spaces too small for your spirit. Watching as you pretended not to hear his call because you feared the cost of obedience. But he is serious now. The gentle knocking on your heart's door has turned into a divine insistence. Heaven has stopped waiting for your convenience. It now demands your attention. This is not a threat, it is mercy's final invitation before the season shifts. The same hand that protected you in your rebellion is now reaching to pull you out of it. The same voice that whispered comfort is now roaring with authority. Wake up, chosen one. Destiny waits. Do not take this lightly. There are those who were once anointed but ignored the summons. They mistook God's patience for permission. They confused grace with indifference. Don't make that mistake. You are being set apart in this generation, not to blend in, but to stand out. The calling on your life is not casual, it is cosmic. The angels are watching your response. Heaven has invested too much in you to let you drift through life numbed by distraction. You are not scrolling through a random message. You are standing on holy ground disguised as a screen. Every delay in your life was orchestrated to bring you here, to this divine confrontation with purpose. You are a carrier of light, and that light disturbs the darkness. That is why you faced more warfare than others. The opposition in your life is proof of your significance. Every spiritual attack, every season of isolation, every betrayal, it was all because hell recognized what you carried long before you did. Listen closely. Heaven has stopped everything else just to speak this truth. You are out of time for delay. The window of mercy is still open, but not forever. God is serious about your obedience, serious about your calling, serious about the souls tied to your yes. The lives that will be transformed by your surrender are waiting. Every time you postpone obedience, someone else's miracle is postponed too. Beloved, this is the moment to decide. Don't scroll past your summons. Don't silence your spirit. This word is not entertainment. It is an awakening. The Spirit of the Lord says, now is the appointed time. Do not harden your heart. Yield, obey, return. You have been wondering why me, and heaven replies, because you are the one I trusted with this battle. Others would have broken under what you carried, but you endured. The pain you've endured is not punishment, it is preparation. What looked like rejection was actually redirection. God removed what could not carry you into your next level. You stand at the threshold between the ordinary and the divine. Step through. The moment you decide to fully surrender, heaven will accelerate everything attached to your destiny. Divine alignment is waiting for your obedience. As it was written in the book of Isaiah, chapter 40, verse 31, "But those who hope in the Lord will renew their strength. They will soar on wings like eagles. They will run, not grow weary." That is your promise. Chosen one, you have been crawling through survival, but strength is about to return. You will soar again. The same Spirit that raised Jesus from the dead is breathing fresh power into your bones. Before you leave this moment, pause. Acknowledge heaven's voice. If this message resonates with your spirit, let your response be an act of faith, like share and comment the number 111 as a prophetic declaration that you hear and obey. Then subscribe so that every word God sends finds you when it's time. This is not entertainment. This is assignment. Heaven has stopped for you now. It's your turn to stop for heaven. You were never random. Every breath you take, every step you've walked, every twist and turn that has led you here, all of it was written long before you opened your eyes for the first time. The universe did not make you. Luck did not shape you. Coincidence did not craft your existence. You were designed. Before the first sunrise, before oceans kissed the shores, before the stars found their place in the sky, God spoke your name into being. Chosen one. That is why you have always felt different. Even as a child, you sensed something that set you apart. You could not explain it then, but deep down, you knew you did not fit the world's mold. Others laughed easily while you carried unseen burdens. Others chased popularity while you longed for truth. You have walked through life as a mystery even to yourself, wondering why your heart beats differently, why you can't simply blend in and disappear. The answer is simple yet divine. You were never meant to. You were formed for purpose, not comfort. There is a divine fingerprint on your soul that refuses to be erased by the patterns of the world. Every time you tried to compromise, something in your spirit rebelled. Every time you tried to conform, a quiet voice whispered, "You don't belong here." That voice was heaven's reminder that your assignment is higher than approval, your destiny deeper than acceptance. The Spirit of God marked you early. That is why the attacks on your life began early. The enemy saw your potential before you did. From the moment of your birth, darkness plotted to dim your light. It tried to break your confidence, distort your reflection, and convince you that you are ordinary. But even your wounds tell a story of divine ownership. The scars you carry are not shame, they are signatures of survival. You are not forgotten, not misplaced, not overlooked. Heaven's eyes have never left you. When others walked away, thinking your story had ended, heaven whispered, "I'm just beginning." You are the living evidence of divine intention. Nothing about your existence is accidental. Even the pain that shaped you was permitted for purpose. God used the very storms that tried to destroy you as training grounds for your calling. There are things about you that make no sense to those around you, and they're not supposed to. Spiritual purpose cannot be understood through natural reasoning. People call you strange, too sensitive, too intense, too spiritual. They cannot see what God placed inside you. They mock what they do not understand. But heaven smiles because it knows what's coming. You are the answer to prayers someone else is still praying. You are part of a chain reaction of miracles that stretches beyond your lifetime. That is why the battle has been so fierce. You are not just fighting for your own breakthrough, you are breaking generational patterns. The warfare you've endured is generational because the calling on your life is generational. You are the one chosen to end cycles that have tormented your bloodline for decades. When you look back, notice how the pattern of your life reveals divine rhythm. You have been protected from things you didn't even know were deadly. You have been positioned in rooms you didn't earn your way into. You have been given insight beyond your education and strength beyond your years. That's not luck, that's legacy. You are walking in the evidence of God's intentional love. Chosen one. Stop diminishing your worth to fit environments that cannot hold your magnitude. You are the evidence that heaven still writes stories through human lives. The fire in your spirit is proof that eternity burns within you. You are chosen to reflect the nature of the one who called you. You don't need validation from those who cannot see your assignment. The world may not recognize you yet, but heaven already has your name engraved in its archives. When God calls you mine, no rejection can unmark you. You are not wandering, you are being led. You are not lost, you are hidden. And when the appointed time arrives, God will unveil you. As the Spirit spoke through the prophet Jeremiah, chapter 1, verse 5, "Before I formed you in the womb, I knew you. Before you were born, I set you apart." Those words are not distant history, they are your identity. Heaven's knowledge of you predates your existence. You were known before you were named, and that knowledge carries divine expectation. The one who knew you then is the same one guiding you now. He has not changed his mind about you. So stand firm, embrace your difference. The world calls it strangeness. Heaven calls it distinction. Every step you take in alignment with your purpose ripples through eternity. You were never random, chosen one. You were always written. The weight you carry is proof, chosen one. Proof that heaven has trusted you with assignments heavier than most could bear. You have wondered why your battles seem more intense, why your nights are longer, your tests more personal, your loneliness more suffocating. It is not punishment, it is divine entrustment. The presence of pressure is not a sign of rejection, it is the mark of responsibility. God never sends light carriers into light battles. You have felt crushed because you are being refined. You have faced rejection because heaven needed to separate you from comfort. Every tear, every season of silence, every betrayal, each one has been shaping the vessel of your purpose. The crushing was never to destroy you, but to produce oil, the kind that only flows when something has been pressed beyond its limit. You are not cursed. You are being cultivated. The pain that others ran from is the same pain that made you deeper, wiser, more compassionate, more. You have been walking through fires that others would not survive because your calling requires endurance. The anointing you carry cannot be bought or borrowed, it must be forged. That's why your process has been so intense, it's personal. Heaven knows what you carry, even when you doubt it yourself. Every disappointment you faced was a classroom in disguise. Every delay was a divine appointment in slow motion. The weight you feel on your chest, the invisible burden you cannot explain, is evidence that you are standing under an assignment too large for your current strength but not too large for your calling. Chosen one, remember this: the enemy does not waste his weapons on the ordinary. The opposition in your life reveals your importance. The greater the warfare, the greater the calling. You have been targeted because you are dangerous to darkness. That is why you could not quit even when you tried. Something divine inside you refused to let go. That was not stubbornness, it was destiny clinging to its promise. You are not behind schedule. You are right where heaven needs you to be. The pressure you feel right now is not the end, it's the threshold. God is preparing to reveal why the pain was necessary. You will look back and realize that every closed door was protection, every heartbreak was redirection, and every tear watered the ground of your next season. It was through suffering that your compassion grew, through isolation that your discernment sharpened, through brokenness that your humility deepened. Heaven does not waste pain. Nothing you endured will go unused. You are the living evidence that beauty can rise from ashes and that divine strength often wears the disguise of weakness. Chosen one, take a moment to breathe. You've been carrying so much, but the one who called you has also promised to sustain you. You were never meant to carry the weight alone. You've been invited to trade it for something lighter, something holy grace. According to what is revealed in the book of 2 Corinthians, chapter 4, verse 17. For our light and momentary troubles are achieving for us an eternal glory that far outweighs them all. Heaven is saying that what feels unbearable now will soon make sense in the light of eternity. The weight that seems heavy today will produce glory tomorrow. The crushing is temporary. The oil is forever. You are being prepared for eternal impact. Don't despise this season. The wilderness you walk through is not your grave, it's your training ground. You are learning how to wield spiritual authority, how to hear God clearly, how to trust Him beyond logic. You are not just surviving, you are being sculpted into something unshakable. When others see your scars, they see weakness, but heaven sees signatures, marks of ownership that say, "This one belongs to me." Your pain carries prophecy. Your endurance carries evidence. The weight you carry is proof that heaven is close. Now, as you let these words settle in your spirit, I want you to take a prophetic action. Type "I'm still standing" in the comments below. Those 3 words are not mere text, they are testimony. Each letter declares that despite what came against you, you are still here. Despite what tried to break you, your faith did not die. That phrase is a roar in the spiritual realm, announcing to every force of darkness that its attack failed. When you type it, don't just write it, mean it. Say it with conviction. Let heaven hear it. Let hell tremble at it. I'm still standing. It's your declaration that the crushing did not conquer you, that the weight did not win, and that the fire only refined what God intended to shine. You are chosen not because you're flawless, but because you're faithful. The pressure will not destroy you, it's proving you. The weight is not a curse, it's confirmation. And when the time is right, that same weight will turn into wings. God has been watching your delay. Chosen one, every hesitation, every half step, every moment you knew what to do but didn't move, heaven has seen it all. You think no one notices when you postpone obedience, when you promise to pray but don't, when you feel conviction but brush it aside. But the one who formed your spirit sees even the quiet rebellion of procrastination. You have been circling the same mountain, walking the same emotional path, replaying the same spiritual cycles, and heaven has been patient. But divine patience is not infinite. It is purposeful. It waits for transformation, not stagnation. You were never meant to live in endless preparation. There comes a time when the voice that once whispered, "Wait," now declares, "Move." Heaven has been watching you delay. You keep saying you're not ready. But God knew your readiness when He called you. You keep asking for strength. But strength is released only in motion. Every time you take one obedient step, heaven multiplies your capacity. You are not supposed to have all the answers, you're supposed to trust the one who does. Delay may feel harmless, but spiritually, it's dangerous. Every time you postpone obedience, something within you grows dull. Conviction loses its edge. Passion fades. You become familiar with holy things, comfortable with spiritual tension. Heaven has noticed that comfort, and God is calling it out not to condemn, but to awaken you before apathy takes root. There is a difference between divine waiting and human procrastination. Divine waiting is trust. Human procrastination is fear disguised as wisdom. You have called it caution, but heaven calls it avoidance. You have prayed for signs while ignoring instructions. You say, "Lord, I'm waiting on you." And heaven whispers back, "No, I'm waiting on you, chosen one." This is a sacred confrontation. You have delayed long enough. The same calling that was on your life last year still stands, but the urgency has intensified. God is not angry with you. He is serious about you. He is watching because there are people whose freedom is tied to your obedience. There are doors only you can open, songs only you can sing, messages only you can carry. When you delay, destinies are delayed with you. Heaven does not measure time the way we do. Every divine opportunity comes with a season attached. When that window closes, it does not mean you are forsaken, it means the timing shifts. And when God's timing moves on, catching up requires surrender that costs more than obedience would have. This is why heaven watches delay so closely, not out of control, but out of compassion. He sees the fear behind your hesitation. He knows the weight of your uncertainty. You've been hurt by false starts before doors that slammed, dreams that failed, prayers that felt ignored. That pain made you cautious, even skeptical. But faith requires risk, and risk requires trust. You cannot stay in safety and walk in destiny at the same time. The time for hesitation is ending. Heaven's patience has purpose, and that purpose is reaching its completion. You have been circling the same decision, praying for a confirmation that's already been given. The Spirit of God says, move forward, not next month, not after everything feels perfect, now. Because delayed obedience is still disobedience. Heaven speaks clearly through the words in Deuteronomy. Chapter 1, verse 6. The Lord our God said to us at Horeb, "You have stayed long enough at this mountain." That single verse carries thunder. It is not merely history, it is command. You have stayed long enough in indecision, in overthinking, in fear. The mountain you've been circling represents the comfort zone of your faith. But there is no new revelation on old ground. God is not calling you to destroy what you've built, but to expand beyond it. The life you've known cannot contain the calling that is emerging. The voice of heaven is urging you to move, not just geographically, but spiritually, to rise into obedience so complete that delay becomes impossible. You have been prepared. Heaven would not speak with such urgency if you were not ready. The resources you think you lack will appear once you step forward. The strength you think you don't have will meet you on the path of obedience. You will find that what seemed impossible was only waiting for your yes. This is the mercy of God to confront delay before it becomes disconnection. The same hand that watched your hesitation is the same hand extending grace right now. You still have time to obey. You still have a window to act. You still have a chance to prove that you value His voice more than your comfort. You have stayed long enough at this mountain. Chosen one. The view is familiar, but the promise lies ahead. Pack your faith, leave your fear behind, and move when He says move. Heaven is watching, but not with disappointment, with expectation. The time of ignoring is over. Chosen one. Heaven's voice has been whispering in your spirit for too long, but now the tone has changed. The call that once came softly in dreams now thunders through every silence. The hour of postponement has passed. This is the moment when mercy speaks louder than comfort. You have been living between conviction and convenience, wanting God's will but not wanting the breaking that comes with it. Yet the Father is not looking for half-hearted listeners. He is calling for those who can still tremble when He speaks. You have heard Him for years. In moments when you thought you were imagining things. In sudden waves of peace, in unexpected tears, In songs that seem to know your story, he has been speaking. But now, the volume of heaven rises because eternity is leaning closer. This is the season when delayed responses are dangerous. You cannot keep treating divine moments as optional notifications that can be opened later. Every divine word has an expiration date attached to its timing. When God says now, obedience tomorrow is already late. Chosen one, do you feel it? That subtle weight in your chest, that ache you cannot name, it is heaven pulling at your heart. The angels have marked this season as your awakening. God has waited, watched, and whispered, but now he commands. Not because he wants to control you, but because he wants to save you from missing what was written in your destiny. Every time you choose distraction over devotion, something within you grows dull. But every time you choose presence over procrastination, light increases around you. The more you listen, the clearer his voice becomes. Heaven is not asking for perfection, he's asking for surrender. The voice of mercy sounds different now. It does not plead softly, it beckons urgently. It reminds you that the window is still open, but the night is coming when no one can work. The kingdom does not wait forever for the unwilling. There are seasons when silence from God is not punishment, but proof that his invitation has expired. We are reminded through the writings of David in the Psalms, chapter 95 and all we of verse 7 and 8, today, if you hear his voice, do not harden your hearts. Those ancient words still vibrate with relevance today. Not next week, not when life feels safer, not when it's convenient today. The Spirit is saying, do not harden your heart, because what you refuse to feel, you eventually fail to hear. God is speaking again, but differently this time. It is not just a call, it is a command sealed in love. You have been chosen to rise, not to remain. There are assignments waiting for your yes, breakthroughs attached to your obedience, and souls aligned with your surrender. And as you hear this, let me speak to your humanity. I know it feels heavy. I know life has drained your energy, and faith sometimes feels like climbing uphill with trembling hands. But you are not climbing alone. There are unseen hands pushing you forward, unseen prayers covering you, unseen grace catching you every time you stumble. Like a seed buried in darkness, you are not dead, you are hidden. The soil feels suffocating, but something is germinating inside you. When God whispers, it's not to crush you, it's to draw life from your depths. The roots must grow before the fruit appears. And as this message touches your spirit, I invite you not as a demand, but as a holy gesture to help keep this light burning. When you like, it's not vanity, it's visibility. It tells the algorithm of the world that faith still matters. When you share, you are not promoting a page, you are spreading a seed. Someone somewhere may be on the edge of giving up, and your small act could be the thread that pulls them back to hope. When you subscribe, you're not joining a channel, you're joining a movement of hearts that refuse to let heaven's voice go silent in a noisy generation. And if you ever feel led to donate, understand this giving is not loss, it's planting. It's saying, Lord, I believe this message will reach those who need you most. Every drop of generosity becomes oil that keeps this flame alive. You're not giving to a screen, you're giving into soil that grows souls. You're not helping a creator, you're fueling a calling. You're helping this river of divine words reach those still drowning in silence. Chosen one. This message is not just for you, it flows through you. Let it pass on. Let it multiply. Let it echo. Because heaven is not done speaking. The time of ignoring is over. And the sound of obedience is what heaven is waiting to hear. Your yes may look small, but in the spirit it is thunder. Mercy is still here, calling you by name, offering one more chance to step fully into what was always meant for you. Don't silence that call. Don't scroll past this moment. The time of ignoring is truly over. When God withdraws his hand, the world feels colder. The air around your spirit changes, and suddenly, the same places that once felt full of life become hollow. The laughter doesn't echo the same way. The prayers don't flow the same way. And even the sunlight seems distant. Chosen one. This is not imagination, it is spiritual reality. When the divine hand lifts, it is not to destroy but to remind. You have felt that distance before, haven't you? The prayers that used to break open the heavens now hit invisible walls. The peace that once wrapped around you now flickers like a fading flame. It's not that God has abandoned you. He's allowing you to feel the absence of what you've taken for granted. The presence you once ignored becomes the very thing your soul begins to hunger for again. There comes a moment when silence itself becomes a message. Heaven does not always shout. Sometimes it withdraws to create holy hunger. When God hides his face, it is not cruelty, it is correction. His withdrawal is not rejection, but redirection. He steps back not to leave you empty, but to make you realize how deeply you need him. The Spirit of God is gentle, but he is not to be mocked. There are times when grace gives space for repentance, and there are times when mercy withdraws to let you see the consequences of delay. It is a fearful thing to walk outside the shelter of divine favor, yet even this warning is love. It is heaven saying, "Come back before the distance becomes darkness." You may think you can manage without his nearness, mammon, but the truth is, everything begins to unravel when his hand lifts. Opportunities dry up, peace fades, joy loses its glow. You start chasing things that once satisfied you but no longer fill the void. You realize the presence of God was never optional, it was oxygen. And when you stop breathing him in, your spirit suffocates. The book of Romans, chapter 1, verse 28, records a chilling truth furthermore. Just as they did not think it worthwhile to retain the knowledge of God, so God gave them over to a depraved mind, so that they do what ought not to be done. Those words still shake the spirit today. They remind us that divine withdrawal is not sudden, it's permitted after repeated resistance. Heaven does not abandon lightly. It steps back slowly, giving countless chances for repentance. But when the heart grows numb, when conviction is ignored too long, mercy pauses and silence enters. Chosen one. This is not where you are meant to remain. You were never created to live apart from his presence. The same hand that feels distant can still reach for you. The same voice that seems quiet can still thunder your name if you will only turn back. God's absence is an invitation to seek him again, to cry out from the depth of your being until his presence floods you once more. You know this feeling, the ache when something sacred is missing. That emptiness is the space he left open for himself. Nothing else fits there. Not success, not relationships, not distractions. You've tried to fill it with noise, but the silence keeps echoing. That echo is grace calling you home. Heaven is saying, "Return to the place where I found you. Rebuild the altar you allowed to crumble. Seek me, and I will restore the light you lost." God is not finished with you, and the distance you feel now can become the very road that leads you back to his closeness. The moment you cry, "Lord, I miss you," the atmosphere shifts. The distance begins to collapse. The silence begins to break. You will feel it, the warmth returning, the light expanding, the presence pouring like rain into dry ground. His withdrawal was never meant to destroy you, it was meant to draw you closer than before. But don't wait. Every delay deepens the distance. Every ignored whisper builds another wall. Right now, heaven is leaning close, waiting for your first word of surrender. You don't need perfect prayers, just honesty. just a heart that says, "God, I can't do this without you anymore." And as you read this, let your spirit respond. Type 777 in the comments below, not as superstition, but as a prophetic act. 7 is the number of divine completion, and repeating it 3 times declares that the separation ends here. By writing it, you're saying, "I choose restoration, I choose closeness, I choose to return." This is not just interaction, it's intercession. Every 777 becomes a sound in the spirit, a collective echo of those who refuse to live without the presence of God. It's a public confession that you're ready to breathe again, ready to feel again, ready to walk in the nearness of the one who never stopped loving you. So, chosen one, lift your eyes. The same God who withdraws his hand is also the one extending it now. Reach back. Don't let this moment pass in silence. Let your heart beat again with heaven's rhythm. The presence that once felt far away is waiting to embrace you once more. Your calling terrifies hell. Chosen one. You have no idea how many battles were fought over your life before you even knew who you were. The enemy saw the mark of heaven on your spirit long before you did. He saw the authority you would carry, the power your words would release, and the light you would unleash upon the earth, and that terrified him. That's why the warfare started early. You were targeted not because of your weakness, but because of your potential. Before you ever spoke a word of truth, darkness recognized your voice. Before you took your first step toward destiny, the enemy set traps at your feet. He hoped to confuse you early, to convince you that you were ordinary, to bury your fire under layers of fear and shame. But what he didn't expect was that the very pain he caused would become the forge that strengthened your faith. Every setback, every betrayal, every heartbreak, it all became training. You were not being punished, you were being prepared. The fire that was meant to consume you became the light that would later guide others. You've walked through valleys that left spiritual bruises, but even those marks now carry meaning. You have survived too much to be silent. The world may see an ordinary person, but the unseen realm recognizes a weapon. You are a walking contradiction to the kingdom of darkness, a vessel made of flesh carrying eternal fire. You are proof that God still redeems, still restores, still reigns. Every time you choose faith over fear, heaven roars and hell recoils. There have been moments when you wanted to quit, to lay down the mantle and live quietly. You told yourself you weren't strong enough, holy enough, or worthy enough. But those were lies whispered to silence you. The enemy fears your voice because it carries truth, and truth spoken by someone who has been through pain has more power than 1,000 sermons. Your calling is not fragile. It is not a title or a performance, it is a covenant. It is God saying, "I trust you with this generation." That is why the process has been long and the attacks relentless. God is building resilience into your spirit because the weight of your assignment requires a heart that cannot be easily shaken. You've walked through seasons of divine contradiction where your promise felt distant and your faith seemed small. You prayed, but heaven stayed silent. You obeyed, but doors still closed. What you didn't realize was that silence was strategy. Heaven was training you to stand firm when nothing made sense, because one day you would have to teach others how to do the same. Even your weaknesses carry purpose. The cracks in your vessel allow grace to flow. Your imperfections do not disqualify you, they authenticate you. God is not looking for polished perfection, but for surrendered hearts. And your surrender, even in weakness, terrifies the kingdom of darkness more than any display of human strength. The apostle reminds us in his letter to the Ephesians, chapter 6, verse 12, "For our struggle is not against flesh and blood, but against the rulers, against the authorities, against the powers of this dark world and against the spiritual forces of evil in the heavenly realms. You are not fighting people, you are fighting principalities. This is not personal, it's prophetic. The storms around you are not random, they are reactions to your awakening. You are stepping into identity, and identity is dangerous to the enemy. When you finally see who you truly are, the lies that held you crumble. Hell fears clarity. As long as you doubt yourself, the enemy can distract you. But once you realize that you are chosen, equipped, and anointed, every tactic loses its power. That's why confusion has been one of the enemy's favorite weapons against you. He tries to blur your vision because he knows that a focused chosen one is unstoppable. But your vision is clearing now. You are remembering who you are. You are not born to bow to fear, but to command the storm. You are not a victim of darkness, but a carrier of divine light. Every trial has been sharpening your discernment, every delay building your endurance. Heaven has not forgotten your tears. It has been gathering them as fuel for your next victory. Chosen one, lift your head. The warfare around you is proof that you are approaching breakthrough. The darkness would not fight you this hard if it weren't terrified of your next step. The call on your life is shaking the atmosphere. You are not just surviving, you are advancing. The enemy's greatest mistake was letting you live long enough to realize that you are more than what you've been through. You are a threat now, and soon. The very places that once wounded you will become the ground where you wage victorious battles. Hell is trembling because it knows you are about to walk in your calling fully awake. This is not coincidence. Chosen one, nothing about this moment, this message, this exact intersection of your heart and heaven's voice is random. You are standing inside divine timing disguised as ordinary life. The very fact that you are reading these words means that heaven orchestrated the alignment of countless details just to reach you. You might think you stumbled across this message, that it appeared on your screen by chance. But there is no such thing as chance in the kingdom. Every divine encounter has a reason. Every whisper from the Spirit has a purpose. God does not waste words, and He never sends messages to the wrong address. Look back at your life and you will see the fingerprints of divine orchestration everywhere. You were protected from certain people, delayed from specific paths, and pushed into uncomfortable seasons not because you were being punished, but because heaven was weaving a pattern that only now begins to make sense. You may have called it coincidence. God calls it calling. Every time you thought, "Why me?" heaven was answering, "Because I chose you." Every closed door was a redirection toward the path written for you before the foundation of the world. Even your mistakes, the ones you thought disqualified you, became part of your preparation. Grace has been editing your story behind the scenes, turning what was meant for shame into strength. Chosen one, you need to understand how deliberate God has been with you. There were moments when you should have been destroyed, but something unseen intervened. You avoided accidents that should have taken your life. You met people who appeared at the exact time you needed guidance. You walked away from disasters without explanation. That was not luck, that was the architecture of mercy. Divine orchestration is quiet but constant. It arranges details you don't notice until you look back. The friendships you lost, the opportunities you missed, the heartbreaks you endured, all of them fit into a blueprint far larger than you imagined. You were not being detoured, you were being developed. The long route has been the right route all along. You see, heaven's timing rarely aligns with human schedules. You wanted acceleration, but God prioritized preparation. He could not let you step into purpose half-formed, because unprepared blessings can crush unready hearts. So He waited until your character caught up with your calling. What you call delay, heaven calls design. This is why you must not despise small beginnings. The seemingly insignificant moments are where destiny often hides. The conversation you almost ignored, the job you thought was temporary, the small act of obedience that felt unnoticed, each one carried eternal weight. The kingdom often moves in whispers before it roars in revelation. You have been standing in divine choreography, even when you felt lost. Every misstep you thought you took was a calculated turn in heaven's dance. God has been guiding your steps, sometimes through blessings, sometimes through bruises. When He closed one door, it was to protect your timing. When He delayed one promise, it was to deepen your roots. The ancient words recorded in the book of Romans, chapter 8, verse 28. Declare, and we know that in all things God works for the good of those who love Him, who have been called according to His purpose. That verse is not a comfort cliche. It is a law of divine motion. All things, not some. Not only the good ones, all things. Every pain, every joy, every fall, every triumph woven together under the hand of the master craftsman to form something glorious. You are not a mistake being corrected. You are a masterpiece being completed. Think of a tapestry viewed from behind knots, threads, confusion, no clear pattern. That is what life often feels like. But if you could see from heaven's perspective the front side of the tapestry, you would behold beauty, purpose, precision. The same tangled threads that once frustrated you are the very colors that make your story radiant. So stop calling your current season meaningless. There are no wasted moments in a life surrendered to God. Even silence has a purpose. Even heartbreak has a message. What you think is coincidence is coordination. What you see as confusion is choreography. Chosen one, you are standing exactly where heaven intended you to be right now. The ground beneath your feet has been prepared for years for this moment of recognition. You were never out of step, you were being synchronized. The same God who placed stars in orbit has ordered your steps with equal precision. And though you may not yet understand the why, one day you will look back and see how every event was a divine setup leading to a single revelation. You were guided all along. You were never wandering, you were being woven. You are one choice away, chosen one, just one. Not 10 steps, not a lifetime of striving. One holy decision stands between where you are and where heaven has destined you to be. The distance between confusion and clarity, between wilderness and promise, between ordinary living and divine assignment is often the width of a single act of obedience. You have felt this tension inside, the pull between what you know and what you fear. The voice of destiny whispers, move while comfort begs, stay. You stand at a crossroad, invisible to the world but burning inside your spirit. You've been here before, hesitating, weighing, postponing. But this moment feels different. This time, heaven's silence feels heavy, and your spirit knows that indecision has become disobedience in disguise. Life does not always shift with earthquakes and thunder. Sometimes it shifts with a whisper and a choice. One yes can rewrite generations. One surrender can dismantle decades of delay. Heaven is not asking for perfection, just permission. Permission to lead you fully. Permission to move in ways that defy logic. Permission to take the small, trembling step that unlocks divine acceleration. The danger of delay is that it makes numbness feel normal. The longer you hesitate, the harder it becomes to respond. Conviction fades, and comfort begins to look like peace. But peace without purpose is just disguised apathy. Heaven is saying, you cannot stay here any longer. Every great destiny in Scripture hinged on a single choice. Moses said yes to the impossible. Esther risked her life to speak truth. Peter stepped out of the boat. Each of them stood where you are now, at the edge of the unknown, holding fear in one hand and faith in the other. What they chose next shifted history. You stand in that same sacred tension. Heaven is not indifferent about this moment. Angels wait for your response because your choice will set things in motion far beyond your imagination. You think it's about your career, your relationships, your next step, but heaven sees nations connected to your obedience. Deuteronomy speaks with clarity and weight. Heaven's voice declared in chapter 30, verse 19. This day I call heaven and earth as witnesses. I set before you life and death, now choose life. That command still echoes today. Choose life. Not the kind of life that merely exists, but the kind that breathes purpose. Choose to believe again, even when it hurts. Choose to forgive, even when bitterness feels easier. Choose to obey, even when it costs you comfort. Every time you choose life, heaven celebrates because it means you are aligning again with divine design. You may say, but what if I fail? Yet failure in obedience is safer than success in rebellion. God can redeem missteps, but He cannot bless what you refuse to move toward. Your fear of making the wrong choice has been stronger than your trust in the one guiding you. But that fear ends today. The risk of obedience is real, but the reward of obedience is eternal. You have been circling the edge of breakthrough long enough. You can feel destiny pressing from the other side, waiting for your yes. What if the clarity you've been praying for doesn't come until after you step out? What if the miracle you've been waiting on won't begin until your feet leave the comfort of safety? The first step will always feel uncertain, but uncertainty is the birthplace of faith. When you move, heaven moves with you. When you decide, all of creation aligns. The angels are not assigned to indecision. They are dispatched at the sound of action. You are one choice away from freedom, one choice away from peace returning, one choice away from purpose coming alive again. But that choice cannot be made for you. It must come from your spirit. Heaven will not force you, it will only invite you. This is your turning point. You've prayed for confirmation, this is confirmation. You've asked for a sign, this is the sign. You have everything you need to obey. All that's left is courage. Now, as you read these words and feel that familiar stirring in your heart, don't silence it this time. Do not let fear translate into another year of delay. Instead, take this as your holy moment to respond. Type "I choose life" in the comments below, not as ritual, but as revelation. Those 3 words declare that you are aligning with heaven's plan. You are saying, no more hesitation. I choose what God has written for me. When you write it, let it be a covenant. Heaven sees it as more than a comment, it's a declaration recorded in spiritual ink. I choose life means you are breaking agreement with every voice of fear, every cycle of delay, every shadow of doubt. It means you are ready to walk forward, even if your legs tremble. Heaven's recruitment moment has come. Chosen one. There are seasons when God gathers His warriors, those who will not bend to culture, those who will not trade conviction for convenience. You are being summoned now, not by men, but by the commander of heaven's armies. The trumpet may not sound in the natural, but your spirit hears it. Something in you knows this is not the time to sleep. It is the time to stand. You have been through training disguised as trials. Every heartbreak was a drill. Every delay was discipline. The isolation you endured was not abandonment. It was the secret training ground where heaven forged endurance into your bones. You are ready for assignment now. Heaven is enlisting you among the remnant, the few who will carry fire in a generation growing cold. There is a reason you've never fit in. Soldiers don't blend with civilians. You were not created for comfort. You were crafted for combat. But your battle is not with people. It's with the invisible darkness that drains faith, kills dreams, and blinds hearts. You carry something that shakes hell, unshakable light wrapped in human fragility. The call to rise is not glamorous, it is sacred. Heaven is not recruiting the loudest, it's recruiting the loyal. God is not looking for those who perform miracles, but for those who will remain faithful when no one applauds. You are one of them. You may feel small, but every yes whispered in obedience echoes across eternity. The kingdom is advancing, and God is looking for willing hearts to carry his movement forward. There is a cry in the spirit world for voices that will not compromise truth for applause. When heaven recruits, it's not for a temporary task, it's for an eternal purpose. The words of Jesus still echo in the Gospel of Matthew, chapter 22, verse 14. For many are called, but few are chosen by the Lord who knows the hearts. The difference between the called and the chosen is obedience. Many hear the call, few answer it. But you, chosen one, you're standing on holy ground. The invitation has reached you, and your response will determine what happens next. God is raising a generation that doesn't chase platforms but altars. People who don't seek fame but flames hearts that burn purely before him. That's what heaven's recruitment looks like. It's not about titles, it's about transformation. It's not about followers, it's about faithfulness. When God calls, he doesn't just want your talent, he wants your table. He wants to sit where you eat, speak where you think, and dwell where you plan. He doesn't just want your Sunday, he wants your surrender. And as you hear this, imagine it, heaven extending its hand to you like a general offering a scroll sealed with divine wax. Inside that scroll is your assignment, unique, specific, eternal. It's not about being on stage, it's about standing in truth. It's not about perfection, it's about presence. Will you open it? Will you say yes if this message has reached your heart like a divine knock? Let it move you to action, not out of guilt, but out of gratitude. If your spirit feels stirred, take a moment to like this message. Think of it as placing a small stone on an altar, a sign that says, I heard you, Lord. When you share, imagine throwing a torch into the dark, lighting paths for others who are wandering. Someone else may be standing where you once stood, tired, unsure, ready to give up. Your share could be the flicker that reignites their faith. When you subscribe, see it as choosing to remain near the flame. You're saying, I don't want to miss when heaven speaks again. You're aligning yourself with continual reminders of divine truth in a world full of noise. And if you ever feel led to donate, think of it as adding oil to a lamp. Every act of giving, no matter how small, keeps the fire burning, keeps the words flowing, keeps the light reaching those who have none left. You're not giving to a person, you're fueling a purpose. This is soil, not a screen. Seeds sown here bloom into souls restored. This is how heaven's recruitment works. It's built on partnership. One speaks, another carries. One gives, another goes. Every act becomes a thread in a divine network of obedience. You're not just a listener, you're a link in the chain of God's move on earth. Heaven has called your name before the throne. You may not feel qualified, but grace qualifies the willing. Your weakness is not a reason for disqualification, it's the very reason you were chosen. God prefers the surrendered over the strong, the faithful over the famous, the available over the impressive. So, chosen one, lift your head. Heaven's scroll is open before you. Read your name upon it and remember this is not coincidence. You were handpicked to carry his flame into your generation. The recruitment is now, and heaven is waiting for your answer. The breaking that builds you, Chosen one, it's the mystery no one warns you about when you say yes to destiny. You expected glory, but instead came grinding. You expected open doors, but instead came long nights. And yet, heaven smiles through it all, because the breaking is never meant to destroy. It is designed to define. Every person God has ever used was broken first. The breaking removes what the blessing cannot carry. It tears down pride, independence, and self-sufficiency until all that remains is trust. You have walked through this process without realizing its sacredness. Every time life cracked something inside you, God was shaping you into the vessel He always intended. Breaking is not evidence of abandonment, it's proof of investment. The potter does not break what he is not willing to rebuild. He only breaks what he plans to use for higher purpose. So when you feel like pieces, remember you are being remade for something greater than your comfort. Pain has been your teacher. It has stripped away illusions and forced you to face your core. It showed you who truly stands beside you, what truly matters, and who has never left. Through pain, you learned that faith isn't a feeling, it's a decision. You discovered that peace isn't the absence of storms, but the presence of God in the middle of them. Chosen one. You've been crying for restoration, but heaven is working through transformation. Restoration gives you back what you lost. Transformation gives you what you never had before. The old version of you could not carry the new assignment. So heaven allowed the shaking not to hurt you, but to strengthen what remains. There were moments when you begged God to remove the storm, but He used the storm to remove what couldn't stay. He let certain relationships collapse because they were not aligned with your purpose. He closed doors you kept knocking on because He heard conversations you couldn't. You saw loss. He saw liberation. You may think, but I'm broken. And heaven replies, yes, and that's where my glory fits best. The cracks in your heart make space for light. The wounds in your story make room for compassion. The very pain you despise is producing the oil others will one day need. You are not just surviving the breaking, you are becoming a vessel of healing because of it. There's a sacred beauty in this process. When God breaks you, He breaks off every false identity. You no longer live for applause because you've learned to live for approval from heaven alone. You no longer fear rejection because you've met the one who never leaves. You no longer depend on people for validation because you've tasted the sufficiency of divine love. Heaven's training is brutal but precise. Every tear that fell became instruction. Every heartbreak taught you discernment. Every disappointment trained your eyes to see beyond appearances. You have become someone the world can't easily deceive because you've seen too much to fall for imitation peace. The breaking taught you empathy. You now recognize pain in others because you felt it yourself. You know how to comfort the wounded because you remember what it's like to bleed. The broken become the best healers, for they speak from scars, not theories. Your voice carries weight now because it's soaked in experience. It was written in the book of James, chapter 1, verses 2 through 4. Consider it pure joy, my brothers and sisters, whenever you face trials of many kinds, because you know that the testing of your faith produces perseverance. Let perseverance finish its work so that you may be mature and complete, not lacking anything. Those words are not poetic, they are prophetic. The trial you're facing is working something in you that comfort never could. Patience, endurance, wisdom, these are the treasures hidden in trouble. Heaven does not waste pain. Every season of suffering carries fruit that eternity will one day reveal. You are being built quietly, like a temple rising stone by stone. Your soul is being fortified. What once would have broken you no longer does. Not because life is easier, but because you are stronger. The same fire that once burned you now fuels you. The same valley that once made you afraid now reminds you of survival. There is dignity in your endurance. The world sees wounds as weakness, but heaven sees them as testimony. When you walk into a room, you carry the fragrance of perseverance, the scent of someone who has walked through the fire and still believes. You don't even realize how much your resilience inspires those around you. Chosen one. The breaking has not been for nothing. It has been heaven's construction site, dusty, loud, and chaotic, yet necessary. Soon, you will look back and see the architecture of grace built within you. The walls that once confined you have become foundations that hold you. You are being prepared for elevation. Before God multiplies influence, He solidifies integrity. Before He increases visibility, He anchors humility. The breaking ensures you will not crumble under the blessing. What hurt you was actually holding you in place until you were ready for what's next. So don't despise the process. The breaking is the birthplace of becoming. And one day, the same people who saw you shattered will witness the glory that rose from your ruins. You carry the blueprint, chosen one. Not a copy of someone else's design, but a divine original etched into your spirit before your birth. You are not here to imitate, you are here to initiate. There is something within you that heaven has never released through another soul. A sound, a strategy, a solution that lives inside you waiting to be awakened. You have felt it, haven't you? That sense that you were made for something precise, something purposeful. It's not ambition, it's divine memory. Your spirit remembers what your mind forgets, that God placed within you a map, a heavenly design for impact on earth. Every gift, every interest, every heartbreak, every victory, they all connect like pieces of sacred architecture. You are walking evidence that heaven builds through humanity. God could have spoken His will directly into the air, but instead, He chose you to embody it. The blueprint you carry is not on paper, it's written in your tears, your talents, and your trials. You've been through enough to understand what others can't, and that understanding is part of your assignment. The challenge is this: you've doubted your design because it doesn't look like anyone else's. You've compared your path, your timing, your results, and it left you feeling inadequate. But listen closely, comparison is the enemy's way of making you abandon your architecture. No two blueprints are the same. If you try to live by someone else's pattern, you'll misbuild your destiny. Your uniqueness is intentional. Heaven didn't make a mistake when it made you different. Every quirk, every depth of thought, every sensitivity, every strength, it was all woven into your divine function. The things you've been criticized for may actually be clues to your calling. There are ideas inside you that could shift atmospheres. There are words that could heal hearts. There are visions that could revive communities. But those things remain dormant until you step into confidence. You cannot build from doubt. You must trust the design God has drawn in you, even when others cannot see it yet. The word of truth reminds us in the first letter of Peter, chapter 4, verse 10. Each of you should use whatever gift you have received to serve others, as faithful stewards of God's grace in its various forms. That is your confirmation. You are not meant to hide what was entrusted to you. Your gift is not decoration, it's distribution. You carry divine grace in a specific form that no one else can release. When you use it, you multiply heaven's reach on earth. There are people waiting for what you carry. They may not even know it yet, but their healing, their direction, their hope are tied to your obedience. If you stay silent, their answers stay locked inside you. Heaven designed it this way to remind us that we need each other. Every chosen one is a piece of the larger plan. Don't underestimate what seems small. The blueprint of God often starts with simple obedience. Moses' rod was ordinary wood until he raised it. David's stone was small until it flew. The widow's oil was nearly gone until it poured. The moment you act on what you have, heaven breathes on it, multiplying its reach. And when you finally begin to build according to your design, don't expect applause. The early stages of divine construction often look messy. People won't understand what you're creating until it stands finished. But that's all right. Noah built in the rain before anyone had seen a flood. Like him, you're building in faith. Your blueprint is more than a dream, it's a responsibility. The longer you hide it, the longer the world waits for what God placed in you. Every blueprint has a timeline. The longer it sits unbuilt, the more lives remain untouched. Heaven's patience is kind, but time is sacred. Move now. Create now. Speak now. Build now. Chosen one, heaven is stirring the builder in you again. You've carried the design long enough, it's time to manifest it. Don't let fear delay what faith is ready to deliver. This is your moment to act, to unlock, to construct what heaven whispered when no one was listening. And as a prophetic act, if this word ignites something inside you, type 555 in the comments below. It represents grace in motion, divine favor flowing through human hands. When you type it, you're saying, I'm ready to build. I'm ready to use what God gave me. Heaven takes notice of small signs of obedience. Let this be yours today, a declaration that you refuse to let your blueprint gather dust. You were not created to wonder. You were created to build. The tools are in your hands. The plan is in your spirit. And the time is now. When mercy steps back, chosen one, the world changes color. The light dims, the air grows heavier, and what once felt sacred begins to feel ordinary. It is not that God stops loving, it's that his hand, for a moment, loosens its hold to reveal what life feels like without his covering. It is one of the most sobering experiences a soul can endure. Mercy is often mistaken for weakness, but it is the strongest force holding the world together. Every sunrise, every breath, every second chance is proof of it. You have lived wrapped in mercy your entire life, so consistently that you may have forgotten how much it shields you. But when that mercy begins to step back, when heaven pauses its constant rescue, the absence speaks louder than thunder. You may not notice it at first. Everything still looks normal on the surface, your routines, your conversations, your laughter, but deep within, something feels off. The peace that once guarded your thoughts now feels distant. The prayers that once carried power sound hollow. You begin to sense the void. And though you can't explain it, your soul knows something vital is missing. That is the echo of mercy stepping back. When mercy moves, the difference is not external, it's internal. You lose the softness that made you quick to repent. You become slow to feel, fast to justify. Conviction starts to feel like irritation instead of invitation. And little by little you drift, not because you chose rebellion, but because you stopped choosing relationship. The Spirit of God is patient beyond measure, but even patience has purpose. He waits not because he is powerless, but because he is kind. His silence is never abandonment, it's an alarm. Heaven is not punishing you, it's pursuing you through absence. It's saying, can you feel how empty life is when my presence fades? There is a sobering moment when a soul realizes that mercy is not guaranteed to remain where it is unwelcome. The Holy Spirit does not force his company. He responds to hunger. The more you ignore his presence, the quieter he becomes. The more you resist his prompting, the more distance you begin to feel. Heaven will never reject you, but you can reject its nearness by neglect. The book of Hebrews chapter 10 verses 26 and 27 speaks this truth with holy gravity. If we deliberately keep on sinning after we have received the knowledge of the truth, no sacrifice for sins is left, but only a fearful expectation of judgment and of raging fire that will consume the enemies of God. Those are not words of cruelty, they are words of caution, written by a God desperate to spare you from emptiness. It's not about fear, it's about awareness. The worst tragedy is not when punishment arrives, it's when conviction leaves. When the tears stop flowing, when the word no longer pierces, when worship becomes performance, that's when mercy has taken a step back. Chosen one, this is not where you are meant to remain. If you have felt that distance, it's not too late. The very fact that you can feel the difference means that mercy is still within reach. The dead cannot feel, only the living can. The ache in your heart is evidence that grace still calls your name. God's withdrawal is always partial, it never fully abandons. Even when his hand steps back, his eyes stay fixed on you. He waits, like a father watching a child wander too far, hoping for a single turn of the head, a single whisper of repentance to run toward you again. His love is fierce, but it will not force itself. It stands just beyond your resistance, waiting to flood back in the moment you yield. You may ask, how do I know if mercy has stepped back? Look at your hunger. When you stop craving his presence, when sin no longer stings, when your heart stops breaking for what breaks his, that's the sign. But even then, restoration is a single surrender away. Mercy steps back not to end you, but to end your wandering. It withdraws to make you realize that nothing else satisfies. Everything else, no matter how glittering, tastes hollow without him. The absence is an invitation, a holy ache meant to drive you home. And when you return, the beauty of his nature overwhelms you. He doesn't greet you with punishment, but with embrace. He doesn't rehearse your failures, but restores your fire. The moment you whisper, Lord, I miss you, mercy runs faster than your guilt can chase it. This truth is both warning and wonder. Mercy can step back, but it never disappears. It waits, watching, yearning for the moment your heart softens again. And when it returns, it fills every empty space with warmth, clarity, and peace. So, chosen one, if you have felt far, don't despair. The distance is not the end, it's the path back. Mercy may step back, but it always leaves a trail of light leading you home. Follow that light. Follow the ache. Let it guide you to the one who never truly left. He simply waited until you realized you could not live without him. The crown awaits obedience. Chosen one. You have walked through fire, endured storms, and wrestled with shadows, and yet you are still here. Heaven has watched every tear, every prayer, every moment you chose faith over fear. Now comes the divine revelation. The crown is not given for survival. It is given for surrender. You have imagined your reward as distant, something reserved for another lifetime. But the truth is that obedience carries its own glory, and even now, every time you obey in silence, a crown is being formed in the invisible realm. Every time you choose forgiveness over revenge, humility over pride, surrender over stubbornness, another gem is set into the crown waiting for you. God's rewards are never random. They are precise, measured, and eternal. The crown that awaits you is not jewelry, it is authority. It represents victory over self, victory over temptation, victory over the lies that tried to define you. The thorns that once pierced your mind are being reshaped into gold. The suffering that once bent you low is being molded into glory that will one day rest upon your head. Heaven has been testing not your strength, but your obedience. Many can endure trials, But few can remain faithful when obedience costs comfort. True obedience is not measured when it's easy. It's measured when it hurts. When you obey, even without understanding, you become like Christ, choosing purpose over preference. Every chosen one faces the same test in different forms, the tension between the temporary and the eternal. You have felt this in the quiet conflicts of your heart, the whisper that says, "Take the shortcut," and the still small voice that says, "Wait." The urge to prove yourself and the invitation to stay hidden until heaven reveals you. Each choice builds or breaks something eternal. Chosen one, you have been trained in obedience through the slow burn of waiting. You thought the waiting was delay, but it was discipline. God was teaching you to trust His pace. He was shaping you to move only when He says move, to speak only when He says speak. That restraint, though it felt like confinement, has become your strength. The obedient are the most powerful because heaven can trust them with anything. The world glorifies ambition, but heaven glorifies alignment. You can achieve many things by willpower, but only obedience births eternal fruit. The moment you stop chasing outcomes and start following instructions, peace settles like sunlight after rain. Your path becomes clear, not because you control it, but because you surrendered it. The promise of reward is not manipulation, it's motivation. God designed obedience to produce joy, not fear. When you follow His voice, you align yourself with divine rhythm, and everything in creation begins to cooperate with your purpose. Even storms that rise against you end up pushing you toward destiny. The ancient words recorded in the book of Revelation, chapter 2, verse 10, remind us, "Be faithful, even to the point of death, and I will give you the crown of life." That crown is not mere symbolism, it's the visible result of invisible faithfulness. It is heaven's way of saying, "You finished well." But notice the condition: be faithful. The reward is not promised to the talented, the influential, or the perfect, it's promised to the faithful. Faithfulness is obedience over time. It's choosing right when no one is watching. It's worshiping when you don't feel inspired. It's speaking truth even when it costs you position. The faithful may walk slowly, but they never walk backward. Your obedience may not have earned applause here on earth, but heaven has recorded every unseen act. The quiet prayers, the moments you held your tongue, the choices you made when temptation whispered, all of it counts. You may have thought no one noticed, but heaven did. Angels wrote it in the language of eternity. One day, you will see what your obedience built. The relationships restored because you forgave. The lives changed because you spoke. The generational curses broken because you obeyed. The crown you receive will not just represent your endurance. It will represent every ripple of transformation that began with one act of surrender. Chosen one, do not grow weary in doing what is right. The crown is not for those who start with passion, but for those who finish with perseverance. Your faithfulness is constructing something eternal. Even now, the light of glory is forming above you, woven from every yes you've ever whispered to heaven. Keep walking in obedience. Keep trusting the voice that leads. The world may not see your crown yet, but heaven already does. And when the time comes, what was once invisible will shine for all eternity, the symbol of a soul that obeyed even when it hurt, and loved even when it wasn't easy. Rise, warrior of light. The time for quiet survival has ended. The shadows that once pressed against you now tremble, because heaven has ignited something within you that darkness cannot extinguish. You are no longer hiding, you are advancing. The season of retreat is over. The light within you is not small, and the battle you face is not ordinary. You are stepping into your divine authority. The journey that once broke you was never meant to bury you. It was meant to build your sword, Every disappointment sharpened your discernment. Every rejection forged resilience. Every heartbreak tempered your compassion. You were not being destroyed, you were being armed. Heaven has been preparing you, piece by piece, for this moment of emergence. And now, the spiritual realm recognizes your awakening. You may not see it, but your light is visible in unseen places. It pierces through despair, exposing deception, illuminating hope. You carry what others lost the courage to believe again. When you speak, atmospheres shift. When you pray, strongholds tremble. The warfare you endured was a sign of the power you carry. Yet understand this: warriors do not fight for themselves alone. You were raised to intercede, to stand in gaps others cannot see. You carry a light not meant to be hoarded, but shared. A torch in your hand becomes a sunrise in someone else's night. That is why you cannot hide your faith behind politeness or fear anymore. The world is too dark to need quiet believers. It needs burning ones. The power inside you is not self-made, it's borrowed flame. God lit it. Every time you wanted to quit and didn't, that was His breath fueling your fire. Every time you wept and still rose the next morning, that was His strength lifting your heart. You are not fighting for victory. You are fighting from it. Victory was secured long before your first battle began. Jesus said in the Gospel of Luke, chapter 10, verse 19, "I have given you authority to trample on snakes and scorpions and overcome all the power of evil." That authority is alive in you now. You are not a victim of darkness, you are a weapon of light. Wherever you go, Heaven's footprint follows. Every act of kindness, every prayer whispered in faith, every moment you choose love over bitterness, these are strikes against the kingdom of darkness. Warriors do not wait for applause. They fight in silence, unseen and uncelebrated, but heaven records every victory. And you, chosen one, have already won more than you realize. The enemy tried to wear you down, but he failed. You are still here, still burning, still believing. If these words stir your spirit, take a moment to let that fire breathe. Show that you are alive by engaging with this message. When you like, it's not vanity, it's a spark. It tells the world that faith still has a heartbeat. When you share, imagine you are sending a lantern into a dark valley. Someone, somewhere, maybe sitting in silence, scrolling with tears they don't explain. Your simple act could become their reminder that heaven still sees them. When you subscribe, see it as returning to the campfire. Every message that comes after this one is another flame, another weapon, another reminder of who you are. Staying connected is not about algorithms, it's about alignment. And if your heart feels moved to donate, think of it as adding oil to a collective flame. Your contribution doesn't disappear into a void. It becomes warmth that reaches someone else's cold night. You're not fueling a project, you're sustaining a purpose. You're helping messages like this find those who have no strength left to seek light for themselves. Your generosity, whether through words, prayer, or giving, builds bridges for others to cross from despair into destiny. When you invest in light, darkness loses ground. You're joining hands with heaven in this battle for souls. The earth needs awakened ones, people like you who no longer shrink when called. You have fought battles privately, now you will lead publicly. Not for fame, but for faith. You will speak and chains will break. You will move and lives will shift. You will carry love like a sword, mercy like armor, and truth like fire. Comment light wins below if this message burns within you. These two words are more than text, they're prophecy. They declare that no matter the storm, no matter the season, light will always prevail. When you write them, You're reminding both heaven and yourself that the darkness never stood a chance. You are rising now not to boast, but to bless. The light you carry is not for display, it is for war. You are the answer to someone's prayer, the fulfillment of someone's prophecy, the embodiment of someone's hope. Rise, warrior of light. The world is darker than ever, but your glow is stronger than it's ever been. So take your place, grip your sword, burn brightly, and let every shadow know that light has awakened and it carries your name. The prophetic ripple, chosen one. It is already moving through time because of your obedience. You may not see it yet, but heaven has begun to multiply your yes. The smallest act of surrender carries the weight of eternity. Like a single drop striking still water, your obedience creates waves that reach shores you will never walk upon. You think your story is small, but God measures differently. He measures not by size, but by surrender. When you obey in secret, when you forgive quietly, when you love without recognition, each act becomes a divine vibration that travels farther than your sight can follow. You are not simply living, you are echoing. There are people whose lives will be altered because you chose to believe again. There are destinies shifting now because you refuse to quit. Your prayers, whispered in private and soaked in tears, are crossing oceans, moving mountains, opening doors you will never personally step through. That is the power of spiritual cause and effect. Nothing surrendered to God is ever wasted. It all reverberates. You've heard it said that history remembers kings and conquerors, but heaven records obedience. It remembers the mother who prayed, the man who forgave, the warrior who kept faith in the dark. These are the names whispered around the throne. Your obedience may never trend on earth, but in eternity, it is thunder. Chosen one, you underestimate the reach of your faith. Every moment you live in alignment with heaven, unseen atmospheres shift. You think you are just showing kindness to a stranger, but heaven sees you breaking generational curses of hatred. You think you are just speaking encouragement, but heaven records it as prophecy. The ripple begins small, but its reach is endless. The world teaches that significance comes from visibility, but the kingdom teaches the opposite. The quiet ones who walk in obedience hold more power than armies. Every time you obey, you participate in divine architecture. You are shaping futures without realizing it. The Spirit flows through you like a river, touching hearts downstream that you will never meet. It was written in the Gospel of Matthew, chapter 5, verses 14 through 16. You are the light of the world. A city on a hill shines for all, so let yours shine. Those words are more than instruction, they are identity. You are not trying to become light. You already are. The lamp inside you does not need permission to shine. Its very nature is illumination. Even your smallest spark disrupts great darkness. The ripple begins not with a crowd, but with a candle. Do you realize how many answered prayers you are? Someone once asked heaven for help, and God sent you. Every word of encouragement, every prayer of intercession, every act of compassion is heaven's response moving through human hands. You are part of a spiritual ecosystem. Your obedience becomes someone else's miracle. When you live faithfully, you activate divine chain reactions. Your integrity inspires another's repentance. Your patience teaches another's endurance. Your resilience gives another person permission to hope again. You may never hear their names, but heaven will one day show you the lives that blossomed because you chose to obey. You are part of something vast and invisible, a living tapestry of redemption being woven across generations. Some threads shine, others hide in the background, but all are essential. The color of your thread matters. Without it, the picture is incomplete. The prophetic ripple does not end with your lifetime. Your prayers will continue working long after your voice falls silent. Your obedience will protect descendants you will never meet. The seeds you plant in faith will grow in fields you'll never walk. That's how heaven works. It multiplies surrender into legacy. Think about Abraham. His obedience still echoes through every believer's faith. Think about Esther. Her courage saved a nation and still teaches bravery centuries later. Think about your own life. How many unseen ancestors prayed for you without ever meeting you, and their faith carried through bloodlines to bring you here. You are the continuation of someone's obedience, and someone will one day be the continuation of yours. When you act in obedience, the supernatural laws of heaven ripple outward. It might begin with a simple act, an apology, a prayer, a choice to forgive, and suddenly heaven releases new assignments, new awakenings, new anointings through your lineage. The ripple cannot be contained once obedience sets it in motion. The final call of alignment, chosen one. This is not another reminder. It is the moment of sealing. Heaven's voice is steady now, neither pleading nor shouting, only speaking with the quiet authority of truth that cannot be denied. You have heard every whisper, felt every stirring, and walked through every layer of awakening. Now, the question is no longer if you will align, it is when. You stand at the edge of destiny, where delay must die and obedience must live. All of heaven has been preparing you for this convergence, the place where your will meets His and becomes one. This is where wandering ends and purpose begins. The hesitation that once held you back no longer fits who you are becoming. You are being summoned into divine alignment, not just in words, but in your entire existence. Alignment is not perfection, it is positioning. It means stepping into the flow of heaven's rhythm, letting go of resistance and control. It means trusting that even the parts of your story that didn't make sense are now being pulled into order. Alignment does not demand understanding, it demands surrender. The Spirit of God is orchestrating something precise in you. You can feel the shift internally, your desires changing, your peace becoming selective, your heart losing interest in things that once distracted you. That's not burnout, it's alignment. Heaven is pruning you for clarity. When you are aligned with God, everything begins to find its rightful place. Opportunities that once confused you now confirm you. Relationships that once drained you now fade without resentment. Even silence feels sacred because you no longer crave noise, you crave knowing. That's what alignment looks like, not striving, but flowing, not grasping, but resting. Chosen one. Divine alignment is not always gentle. Sometimes it dismantles before it rebuilds. It will remove what you thought you needed to make space for what you truly require. You may lose people or platforms or plans, but never presence. When heaven calls you higher, everything not built for altitude must fall away. Think of a musician tuning an instrument. Each string must be tightened to its exact pitch. Too loose, and the sound falters. Too tight, and it snaps. Your life is that instrument. The tension you've been feeling is heaven tuning your purpose to its perfect frequency. It's uncomfortable, but necessary. When the tuning is complete, your life will produce harmony instead of noise. You've lived through chaos long enough to recognize the counterfeit. Peace is calling you now, not the kind that comes from avoiding conflict, but the kind that comes from divine alignment. True peace is not the absence of storms, but the awareness that you are exactly where you are meant to be, even in the middle of them. The ancient words written in the book of Romans, chapter 13, verse 11, speak clearly. The hour has already come for you to wake up from your slumber, because our salvation is nearer now than when we first believed. That is the tone of heaven in this moment, urgent yet loving, final yet full of promise. The time to awaken fully is here. The time to align is now. Heaven is not interested in partial obedience or temporary repentance. It seeks complete alignment, heart, mind, and motion working as one with the divine will. You have been called, tested, refined, and reminded. Every section of your journey, every message you've received, every whisper that found its way into your heart has been leading here. This is not a conclusion, it is a commissioning. The alignment you choose today will determine the legacy you leave tomorrow. When you are fully aligned, your life becomes effortless prophecy. You stop forcing outcomes because your very existence begins to manifest divine intent. People will be drawn to your peace more than your words. They will feel heaven in your presence. That is what it means to be aligned, the human becoming a reflection of the holy. And when you reach that place, you'll realize that everything you lost was never loss, it was release. Everything that hurt you was not punishment, it was positioning. The entire path, with its detours and delays, was heaven's way of steering you into synchronization with purpose. Chosen one, the final call of alignment is not about what you do next, but who you become now. This is where striving ends. This is where fear finally bows. This is where heaven and earth meet within you. You were never meant to wander aimlessly. You were meant to walk in rhythm with eternity. Stand still for a moment. Breathe. Listen. Can you feel it? The alignment has already begun. Heaven's hand rests on your shoulder, not to push, not to pull, but to steady you. This is the moment you've been trained for, the one your spirit always knew was coming. And now, with quiet certainty, the voice of God whispers one last time, not to command, but to confirm. You are ready. Chosen one, you've reached the end of this message, but heaven's voice doesn't end here. What began as a whisper has become a living fire within you. You've walked through revelation, correction, and awakening. And now you stand crowned with understanding. You know who you are, why you were chosen, and what heaven has placed in your hands. But don't let this be where it stops. The light you carry is not meant to flicker alone. When you like this message, think of it as lighting a candle on the altar of connection, each spark reminding heaven that its words are still being heard on earth. When you share, it's not promotion, it's prophecy. You are extending a thread of hope to someone who might be scrolling through despair at this very moment. Leave a comment, not just to respond, but to release. Write what this journey awakened in you, what lines spoke deepest, what truth changed the way you see yourself. Your words may be the confirmation someone else was praying for. And if your heart feels drawn, subscribe not for content, but for continuity. Each new word that flows will meet you right where you are, a reminder that heaven still has more to say. Remember, every engagement here is a small act of obedience. Every click, every share, every word written in faith, these are modern echoes of ancient altars. They build connection in a world starved for truth. You are not just a listener, you are a carrier now. Go, live what you've learned. Let your actions speak the language of heaven. You are the chosen one, called to shine, to love, to rebuild, and to remind the world that God is serious because His love for you always has been,